Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden avoided capture and escaped across the Afghan border into Pakistan. Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abotabaad, Pakistan. Yet his death does not mark the end of our effort. There's no doubt that al-Qaeda will continue to pursue attacks against us. We must and we will remain vigilant at home and abroad. As we do, we must also reaffirm that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. But it's important to note that our counterterrorism cooperation with Pakistan helped lead us to bin Laden and the compound where he was hiding. Indeed, bin Laden had declared war against Pakistan as well and ordered attacks against the Pakistani people.
In Afghanistan, we will continue taking the fight to al-Qaeda and their Taliban allies.
Folks, they think you're so dumb that they produced a fake bin Laden photo and gave it to the newspapers, and the newspapers all ran with a Photoshop the government had already put out 3 years ago of him with, bullet holes in his head and his face all smashed in. And they know emotionally people needed to see the dead body. Habeas corpus goes back not just to show the body. If you're going to go to jail for something, they need evidence of it. Show the person you killed. It even predates that in a dual way, that if the king said there's a bounty on this person, you had to bring the body. Bring him in, dead or alive, but bring the body. Bring the body strapped over the horse, or you don't get the bounty. But you notice in this dead or alive, we don't get to see it. Now, like Mussolini being hauled up in Rome by his feet to be spit on for 3 days by hundreds of thousands of people, or G.H.Q, you want to see the body. We saw Saddam hung. He was in a prison for a year in front of everybody. Where is the body? Where is the body? Where is the body? No, we're not being shown that. He's thrown into the ocean. And I told Kurt Nimmo last night, I said, we need a part in the article about where is his body.
The future direction of U.S. policy in the war against terrorism, and where will that leave Pakistan, especially if you're talking about a potential drawdown of forces in Afghanistan in 2014?
Well, Pakistan remains very important to them because Pakistan is the only relief zone they have. If they have to pull out of Afghanistan, it is not possible without Pakistan's help and support. But the way they are going, they are actually trying to arm twist us. Economically even they are twisting our arm. And they are they have given free hand to India to carry out acts of sabotage in Karachi, etc.,
right,
and act of terrorism. So this is a very queer combination at that time. Their policy ought to be different to what it is at the moment. Will they be able to bring about a change? Will Obama be able to override the differences that he has with Pentagon, with the neocons, and with the Israeli lobbies, Indian lobbies? I think that is something which can only be guessed at this time. तो क्यों नहीं दिखाई गई? मुझे इसमें दाल में बहुत कुछ काला नजर आ रहा है। और जहां तक ओबामा का कहने का कि इतना बड़ा सरबराह अगर झूठ बोलेगा तो क्या उन्होंने झूठ क्या रेमंड डेविस के सिलसिले में नहीं बोला था कि उसको सफारती इस्तिस्ना हासिल है, लेकिन बाद में दियत अदा करके उसको मतलब है कि उसको इस्तिस्ना हासिल नहीं था, और जो शाह महमूद कुरैशी ने कंफर्म भी किया कि वो नहीं था उसको। تو یہ نہ سمجھیے کہ اوباما کی جو باڈی لینگویج جو تقریر فرما رہے تھے وہ بھی میں نے اس پہ غور کیا. وہ تو ایسا لگتا تھا کہ وہ روبوٹ تقریر کر رہا ہے. اس کا مطلب ہے کہ خود ایسا لگتا تھا کہ کنونسڈ نہیں ہے اس سارے معاملے کے میں.
حمید گل صاحب، پاکستان پر ڈرون حملے بھی کیے جاتے رہے امریکہ کی جانب سے، اور اس پر دبا دبا احتجاج پاکستان کی جانب سے ہوا، لیکن پھر بھی امریکہ نے کہا کہ ہم ڈرون حملے جاری رکھیں گے. اب اس آپریشن جو ہوا ہلاکت کا اسامہ بن لادن کی، اس کو پروپیگنڈا کہیں یا یہ حقیقت پر مبنی ہے؟ آپ نے ایک تو اس میں پہلو بتایا کہ انتخابات چونکہ قریب ہیں تو اس حوالے سے یہ ایک مہم بھی ہو سکتی ہے، لیکن کیا اس کے پیچھے یہ وجہ بھی ہو سکتی ہے کہ پاکستان میں جو زمینی حملے ہیں ان میں اضافہ کیا جائے اور جو کھل کر جو حملے ہیں وہ کیے جائیں؟
دیکھیں جی، یہ پہلی ایسا آپریشن ہے جہاں ان کے ہیلی کاپٹر نے حصہ لیا، ان کی اسپیشل فورسز نے، اور اگر پاکستان ISI کی مرضی کے بغیر کیا، اب پاکستان کی حکومت کو کانفیڈنس میں لے کے نہیں کیا، تو یہ ایک اشارہ کرتا ہے کہ آئندہ آپ کے شہروں کے اندر بھی وہ کریں گے. جس کو چاہیں گے کہیں گے کہ یہ ہمارا دشمن ہے اور ہمیں حق پہنچتا ہے ہماری سلامتی کے لیے کہ ہم اس کو ہٹ کریں. اوباما کی اسپیچ میں انہوں نے یہی کہا نا کہ ہم ہر اس جگہ جائیں گے جہاں ہمارے دشمن ہیں، تو ان کے لیے ہم نے ثابت کر دیا کہ ہم جا سکتے ہیں. تو یہ ایک بڑا لمحہ فکری ہے ہمارے لیے، اور ہمیں جس قسم کے یہاں سیاسی کھیل کھیلے جا رہے ہیں، یا جو لوٹ کھسوٹ مچی ہوئی ہے، یا سپریم کورٹ اور گورنمنٹ کے درمیان جو محاذ آرائی ہے، اور جو اپوزیشن اپنا پورا کردار ادا نہیں کر رہی ہے، وہ تمام منظر ہے جس میں ہمارے لیے خطرات میں کے بڑھنے کے امکانات نظر آتے ہیں مجھے.
جی اچھا حمید گل صاحب، سرکاری ذرائع ابھی تک خاموش ہے، اس کی کیا وجہ نظر آ رہی ہے؟ کیوں ابھی تک کوئی بیان نہیں جاری کیا جا رہا، اور یہ بیان کیا جاری کیا جائے گا ان قریب؟ کچھ
ہونا تو چاہیے. دیکھیں، آپ پوری قوم کو بھی آپ نے سیٹسفائی کرنا ہے، اور آپ نے جو دنیا کی میڈیا ہے اور ان کی زبانیں جو بالخصوص انڈین چینل جو میرے ساتھ بہت کر رہے ہیں، کچھ پہ بات کی میں نے کچھ پہ نہیں، وہ تو اس قدر زہر اگل رہے ہیں پاکستان کے خلاف، اور باقاعدہ ایک پروپیگنڈے کا انہوں نے یہ آغاز کر دیا ہے کہ پاکستان کیا نہیں ہم کہا کرتے تھے کہ پاکستان جو ہے دہشت گردی کا منبع ہے، اور اگر وہاں چھپا ہوا تھا، کاکول کے پاس چھپا ہوا تھا، وہاں تو فوجی بہت زیادہ ادارے موجود ہیں، تو پھر اس کو کیوں نہیں کیا گیا؟ اس کا مطلب ہے کہ سارے اشارے اس طرف ہیں کہ وہ ہم نے اس کو چھپایا ہوا تھا. تو اگر یہ بات ہے تو پھر پاکستان کے لیے بڑی تشویش لاحق ہو جاتی ہے، کیونکہ ہم یہ جانتے ہیں، اور یہ کہا بھی ہے نیو یارک ٹائم نے اگلے دن، کہ ابھی ڈیوڈ پیٹریس جو ہے وہ اپنی تیسری جنگ پاکستان کے خلاف لڑیں گے، یعنی پاکستان کے اندر لڑیں گے. تو اس کا یہ مطلب ہے کہ وہ جو ہم کہا کرتے تھے کہ اصل میں تو ہدف پاکستان ہی ہے اور اس کے نیوکلیر اثاثے ہیں، تو اب ان کو ایک جواز اور ایک وجہ مل گئی ہے جس کی وجہ سے وہ پاکستان کے اپنے اس ہدف کی طرف پیش قدمی کر سکیں.
And we're cutting the lies down. Well, we see the 2012 kickoff of Obama's campaign. They claim they dumped the body of bin Laden in the ocean. They released a fake photo Sunday night. Yesterday morning had to admit it was a fake photo. They've got new fake photos. We'll play just a few seconds of this. They've released, of course, cartoons showing bin Laden shooting his AK-47 and the Navy SEALs taking him out. We'll roll some of that in the background right now for folks. This is so cartoonish. And what concerns me more than anything is that our expert guests have broken down here on air. Webster Tarpley, investigative journalist, Wayne Madsen, others. We've also seen this in the foreign news, that Pakistan was starting to make deals with Saudi Arabia, that Saudi Arabia knows it's being double-crossed by the West, and that there was going to be big movement in Pakistan. Pakistan said, get your drones out of the country. And then magically, this happens. There's this raid, and now they're saying that Pakistan knew he was there for 6 years, as if Western intelligence wouldn't know that either, and they won't produce the body. This is a serious frame-up, it looks like, of Pakistan, moving towards serious confrontations. Lieutenant General Hamid Gul, former head of Pakistani intelligence, really leading the attack on the Soviets in the 1980s, called a hero by our media at the time. He's been called now by some of our media the real leader of al-Qaeda, which he says is asinine. General Gul, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Alex.
I know you have a lot of other media to attend to. We've only got about 25 minutes with you. Sir, you've got the floor. Break down, now that we have some more time to look at this propaganda move, where you stand and what you believe is happening geopolitically.
Well, I think they are targeting Pakistan, and I think Patriots, as it was said by New York Times, is now gearing up, he's limbering up for launching his third offensive against Pakistan. So I think that is where Pakistan is being cornered now. A case is being built against Pakistan, and they are saying that ISI was harboring this great terrorist. But at the same time, if you look at it professionally, all the time the CIA, the political leadership of America, and even all the European countries and their intelligence services were actually putting Pakistani intelligence on the wrong posse by saying that the high-value targets were hiding in North Waziristan and that terrain which adjoins with Afghanistan. So they were pounding Pakistani civilians and poor hapless villagers there with their drone attacks, with the Hellfires and with their Reaper missiles. So they have caused something like 2,500 casualties when the man that they were hunting was actually hiding in one of the urban centers of Pakistan. Now this is remarkable. I mean, it's an intelligence, okay, we accept their version and we say that they are not framing up, and this is not something, although that is a very popular theory here in Pakistan. But if we were to believe every word of what they are saying, then they are more responsible for misguiding Pakistani intelligence, other intelligence agencies, because the CIA and FBI and MI6 had been given free hand in Pakistan to hunt down the terrorists or what they had named, and we had caught so many of them, from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to Faraj al-Libi and all the others from the urban centers of Pakistan. So why were they not also responsible for this failure? Agreed that there have been intelligence failure in this intelligence craft. Failures are not something which is outlandish. Sometimes they do happen. But ISI, instead of being lauded for its good work, I think ISI has been scapegoated by the CIA and all the other bigwigs there in America, and they want to now build a case against Pakistan. Pakistan has suffered enormously, but now they tell us that you are responsible for everything. Isn't it amazing? And if, let's say, Osama is the one that they killed yesterday, why did they have to kill him? He was a sick man. He could have been hauled up in the helicopter and taken away. And imagine, they haven't shown the pictures. They used to show the pictures of Saddam Hussein, and they used to show his teeth also inside of his mouth, and they used to rejoice over it. And now when it comes to Osama, they say that dump him in the sea as soon as possible. I think there is a lot that goes unsaid, and I think it has to be an untold story which has to come out one day. And I think a probe must be held. If the American administration is reluctant to hold that probe themselves, let the international community demand from them that we ignored the 9/11 thing because you said that this had happened to us and we didn't ask for the evidence. But now it's about time that we ask for the evidence. Now this is they always get away. They never are answerable. They were never answerable to 9/11 because no heads were rolled at that time. None from the air traffic control, none from the FBI, none from the CIA, and none from the Air Force, which took 112 minutes to come into action. Can you imagine? They killed Osama bin Laden, if at all that was Osama bin Laden. I don't believe. There are a lot of theories which are going on here. But suppose they killed Osama bin Laden. Why did they have to kill him? So that if he's taken alive, if they had asked the ISI, pointed out to the ISI, which they knew, then ISI would capture him alive. And then he would be put on trial and he will spill the beans that 9/11 was not done by him. And this was the fear because of which they didn't inform the ISI and they went for this hunt themselves independently. This is what they are doing. They are out to conquer the world at the cost of the American people, their comfort, their lives, their blood, at the cost of their hard-earned dollars. This group is devastating. I mean, they are harboring such ambitions which are anti-humanity, which are above all, the American people. And if you give them free hand, now they are trying to go for Pakistan, and this will be disaster because a desperate Pakistan would be a terrible thing for them to handle. I don't know why they are building up case against Pakistan. Raymond Davis, in that case, the Russian intelligence gave out the information. Pakistan was unfortunately not able to do so because Americans come down hard upon them. But he was carrying some ounces of enriched uranium, and he was to go and carry out some kind of action somewhere else, and then blame it on Pakistan that Pakistan's nuclear assets are leaky, and therefore they have to be taken out. They have to be plucked out. And this is my fear, is that they have spotted the areas from where they can infiltrate, and they can come and pick up our nuclear assets or do whatever they want, because they have such liberty of movement here, unfortunately, because of Pervez Musharraf, who was a dictator, and they supported him to the hilt, and he framed such policies which are being now followed by the present regime, which calls itself democratic, but it is not democratic because it is the product of the NRO, the National Reconciliation Order, which was actually stage managed by Condoleezza Rice, and it was signed between David Miliband of the UK and Richard Boucher from the American side, and of course President Zardari from this side, and Benazir at that time. But Benazir became a little violent and she started reacting, so she had to be removed by them. If you remember, John Negroponte came here and he wanted to talk to her that she was becoming rebellious, and she refused to meet him, and then thereafter she was no more. I think this is a very dirty game which is being played by this group.
Incredible information, sir. I'd like to go back to the American recently arrested by Pakistani intelligence. Thank God you stopped him. It's now been confirmed he was trying to get uranium to some of their cutout al-Qaeda patsies to claim that your nuclear weapons program is leaking. Clearly, they now are moving to go into Pakistan. Will they try coups to bring in a soft coup? Or, according to my military sources, they are preparing commando-style attacks, bombardments, going in, getting the nukes, and then starting a larger attack, and then having India attack. But the word is China's not going to put up with this. I mean, we're talking about World War III. General, please give us the possible scenarios and the time frame on this.
Well, I think it was McChrystal's idea, and he, in his briefing to the president, he had said that all he needs is a couple of helicopters and some commandos and an abseiling rope, and then he can go and pluck out anything that you have. And I mean, he said, I'll require a backing of 3 helicopters, and they can take out Pakistan's all the nuclear triggers. But then they thought the better of it, because Pakistan's nuclear assets are dispersed. And if you touch Pakistan's nuclear assets, a lot of countries in the region who are very dear to America may be in trouble. Besides that, I think right behind our back, China, who is a very reliable friend, Pakistan will be left with no option but to lean upon China. And that could, as you are very rightly pointing out, that could start a third world. Is very dangerous. I don't know why are they trying to play with fire, because it will ignite an inferno which will consume the entire region.
They're completely power mad, sir, and they've been setting up a secret police grid, a demonization grid of real American patriots that just want to be a good country with a Bill of Rights and Constitution, who don't want to be an empire. But we have this wicked group that has seized us, and it just gives me chills for my family and my future that the Rand Corporation and others have said they want to start a third world war. Getting back to your intel connections in government, I know you don't like to speculate, but we know this official story. Now they admit he didn't fire back, that he didn't use the wife as a shield. They've already put out a fake photo a day and a half ago. They say more fake photos coming. And we know their history of faking documents and photos. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. Much of our media is turning against the president, saying people are not buying this. But what best do you know? Because now the Pakistani military has been able to go in, but it's all been scooped out. What was there? What is the intel? What does Pakistani ISI, what does the Pakistani army think really went on in that compound? I mean, obviously it's the frame-up of Pakistan, but Do you have any intel on how this theater was executed?
Yeah, I think much of it, what they have said, the helicopter sneaking in and this, that, the other, that is true. Because they did come, and there are eyewitnesses who have reported this. And I was just watching on the TV channel, a lot of people in the neighborhood were giving the stories. But whether Osama bin Laden was there or not, it is not clear. And they have hidden this fact. And the ISI is embarrassed, and Pakistani nation is up in arm against the ISI and the army. That look, this is what you have done to us. You have allowed invaders to come in and do things on their own, and you have allowed the coverage gaps. Why? Because we are investing so much money in you, and this is what you have done to us. So I think very soon there is going to be a policy shift as far as Pakistan is concerned, because pressure is mounting on the regime, on the government, and they will have to simply say, if you were to ask me, that you have done now your job. If you think that this was the target that you were looking for, and you ravaged the whole world because of this, now you've got him. So please finish us, leave us alone, and Yankee, please go home. You will be also at rest. Your boys and girls are being killed unnecessarily. You are squandering your dollars. $135 billion a year, for heaven's sake. Taxpayers' money being squandered in Afghanistan on a war which has already been lost.
You need to know they are trying to get the American people ready to attack you. What would you like to say to the American people about the propaganda they're hearing?
Yes, this is total propaganda. This is fixing Pakistan, who has been a long time your friend. You are the sole superpower today because of Pakistan and because of the blood of the Afghan people, whom you have, with impunity and with great callousness, you have destroyed them. And people of America are very good. They are very innocent. I think gullibility is acceptable to an extent, but please do not buy all the theories of these ambitious generals who are political generals. They are not professional generals. I can assure you, I'm a professional man. I've spent 36 years in the army, and since then also I've been studying and reading, and I've been thinking about things. I can assure you, your generals are wrong, and they have got Obama beleaguered, or he has fallen into their trap, and this is going to be a disaster for everybody.
General, in closing, the average American from New York, when they come to Texas, they think that we don't even really have houses and that we live outdoors and ride horses when we're heavily industrialized like any other Western area. Also, many Americans believe that Pakistan is in the Middle East. They call you Arabs. They don't understand that it's a completely different system and culture, and they don't understand that in the war with the Indians, several wars, that Pakistan fighting 5-1 has basically defeated them. And I don't think the average American kind of thinks it's, some more pushover Arabs. I'm not saying the Arabs are weak. They're just not well coordinated. I don't think they understand that trying to go into Pakistan will make Vietnam and Korea look like a cakewalk. Can you speak to that?
Yes, exactly like that. And I tell you, we'll stand and fight, I can assure you this. And this is a very large nation, it's 180 million people. We are nuclear, and we are fifth nuclear power, which has been described by none other but the American media. And we are ideological, we are self-sufficient in food, and we have China at our back, and we have the Muslim world sentiment supporting us. I can assure you it's going to be a very difficult proposition. Let's not even think of it. Please, people of America, stop these guys. They're cheating you, they are deceiving you, and they have personal ambitions which they want to satisfy. They are bloodthirsty people. They have wild ideas, and these must be checked by people of America.
What is the general sentiment of the population there? Are they buying this latest hoax? And are you concerned, because they're hyping this here now, about a new 9/11, this time to be blamed on Pakistan, because that's in the works? From the propaganda, you can see the preparation.
Yes, people of Pakistan are very aware of it, and that's why I think Pakistan government is going to be under tremendous pressure, and you will have a revolution unless it is rectified in time in Pakistan, and a revolution in Pakistan will absolutely turn the world around, I can assure you this.
All right. Thank you so much, General Hamid Gul, for checking in with us with this information. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.